Well, had some well, good news. Just don't know if it's happened yet or not. I called Mary Seacros. A few guys met Mary. She came up to New York at Dad's 80th birthday bash that we had with Aunt Ann, and you know, memories are hard to take away. I recall going to the laundry in Somerville, right across the street from the sandwich shop that I always went to for lunch. But when I did laundry that morning, I didn't bother going over to get a fresh cup of coffee, because I don't know, something just didn't feel right that morning. Because usually on Saturday morning I'd do my laundry, and I'd throw it in the washing machine, go across the street, have a cup of coffee, come back, take it out of the washer, throw it in the dryer, go back over, have another cup of coffee, and then go home. You know, did not like sitting in the laundry. But this morning, I don't know why, but I just went to the laundry, threw in my clothes. There was a newspaper sitting on one of the chairs. I just sat down and started reading the newspaper. Well, this elderly woman came in. She had a big blanket, and she was having trouble stuffing it in the big loader, so I helped her. And we just got talking, you know, just talking. Well, we got her big blanket washed, and I took my clothes out of the washer, put them in the dryer, and we just sat around and talked. Well, my laundry got done. Her blanket was still damp, so we put in more quarters and just sat there and talked. Well, I go to the picking parlor on Saturday night, and she wanted to go. So I got her address and took her to the picking parlor. Now usually when I go to the picking parlor, I'll take the long way. I know it's about 25 miles out of, but every time I drive through Monk's Corner, I get pulled over by the Copy Whoppies because of what was going on with the kids at that time. But that night, I just decided that I'd go through Monk's Corner. Well, I picked her up. It was about 6:30, and we went to Monk's Corner. As I'm driving through Monk's Corner, sure enough, Copy Whoppies on my butt, followed me to the outskirts, over the bridge, and then I told Mary as we were approaching the bridge, I said, that Copy Whoppy behind us will do a U-turn as soon as we get on top of the bridge. And Mary goes, he can't do that. And I went, watch him. Well, Mary turned around when we got on top of the bridge. Sure enough, the cop did a U-turn. We're back into town. Mary turned around and she goes, how'd you know that? And I said, because he did it a couple months ago when I drove through town. And then going to the picking parlor is about a half hour from that bridge. So I emptied out my soul to Mary, dealing with my kids. And Mary just sat there and absorbed it, just like Mom did. Just absorbed it. Well, we get out to the picking parlor, And naturally, I just had I picked up KFC, big bucket of KFC chicken, like I always did. It was only like 20 bucks, you know. And we get out there, and Mary popped up and she goes, I didn't know you were supposed to bring food out. Mary, it's your first night. You know, just enjoy the company. You know, don't worry about it. I do this every week. So, anyways, not very many of the people would eat my chicken. I'd always take home 8 or 9 pieces, have it for lunch after church on Sunday. And but anyways, Mary met everybody up there, and on the way home, Mary popped up and she goes, you don't want to go through Monk's Corner, do you? And I said, not really. And she goes, well, let's go through Charleston, go across the new bridge. Hey, that sounds like a real good idea. Now going that way is still about 20 miles out of the way, but you know, we did it. It was about 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning, and first time I went across the bridge, and I tell you what, that is a beautiful bridge. Yeah, we get to her place about 3 o'clock in the morning. And, you know, I was a gentleman. I got out, walked around the car, opened up the car door for her. She invited me in, and I told her, I said, nah, we just met. I'm not going to. Anyhow, I got to get a couple hours sleep because I got church in the morning. She didn't say nothing. Nothing whatsoever. After church, I went home, and my phone went off on the way going home from church, and it was Mary, and she invited me to her place for lunch, and I popped up and I said, well, I still got that chicken, and she goes, well, stop by the house when you change your clothes and get it. And I said, okay. So I changed my clothes, grabbed the chicken, went to her place. She went to the store that morning and picked up shrimp. So we had a salad with shrimp and the rest of that chicken, KFC chicken. And then we watched TV. And you know, I'm dressed. I got blue jeans and a shirt on. You know, I dress up for Sunday morning, but Sunday night I go casual. You know, I don't put on no zoot suit church on Sunday night. Well, anyways, it got to be about 5:30, and I told Mary, I said, well, my Bible's still in the car, and I go to church on Sunday night. And she goes, well, let me go with you. Yeah, it's the first time in 25 years, huh, Mary? And she just kind of chuckled. And on the way to church, she popped up and she goes, if you got friends like you had last night at church, I just got an idea that you're friends. And I says, well, I only got one real friend at church. And you'll meet her. She'll be there. And Mary looked at me and she goes, she? And I went, yeah. Yep, that's my little darling. Yeah, I give her $1 a week. And Mary just looked at me like, what? Well, we get to church. And she met Beth. At that time, Beth was about 9 years old, because I've already gone to that church for a couple of years. And I introduced Beth to Mary, and during the service, Mary was on one side of me and Beth was on the other. And Beth and I carried on like we always did. Even Sunday morning, her and I would, we'd listen to Joe, but we'd also have our little conversation going too. I know you're not supposed to do that in church, but to me, church is praising God. And that's what Beth and I did. Well, Beth told Mary, I'll see you Wednesday night. And Mary goes, Wednesday night? And she goes, yep, Wednesday night. I'll see you Wednesday night. So Mary said, okay. Well, on the way home, now, I didn't hear Beth say that to Mary. I was out of it. I was somewhere else. But anyways, on the way home, Mary popped up and she goes, Jane, it looks like you're going to have to pick me up Wednesday night, because I don't want to go to church by myself. You're going Wednesday night? Yeah, your little girlfriend told me that I'll be there Wednesday night. Okay. Well, Wednesday night came, and I drove over to Mary's, picked her up, and went to church. Sure enough, Beth was there. Had supper with us. And I always go into the kitchen after I eat. I'm the guy that you give the plates to. And I stack them and throw them in the washer. And Beth is always beside me doing it. We got done eating, and Beth looked at me and she goes, you're going to have to be by yourself tonight, Gene, because I don't want to leave Mary alone. And I said, okay, that's fine. So I got up and took their dishes, put it on my tray, and went to the kitchen. Beth took Mary around to meet all our friends. Her mom and dad, her brothers and sisters, Joel, the pastor, the assistant pastor, and a lot of the people that show up on Wednesday morning. Because Wednesday morning I told you about the prayer breakfast. Well, apparently Beth knew everybody that went on Wednesday morning in my life, because Mary was introduced to them, and quite a few of them told Mary about the prayer breakfast on Wednesday morning, which I did not do. I didn't. I figured, it's just a passing thing for Mary and nothing's going to happen. Well, Saturday night rolled around, and Saturday afternoon my phone went off and it was Mary telling me not to pick up the chicken. And I said, okay, alright, what are you doing? Well, talking to the people last Saturday night, they want pizza. Oh, okay. Well, we picked up pizza. She'd already called and ordered it, and all we had to do was swing by, pick it up. But the thing is, Saturday night came, and as we were leaving the house, Mary gives me her car keys. And I went, what are you doing? Oh, we're taking my car. Why? I didn't like what happened last week. So for the next couple years, I drove her car every Saturday night to the picking parlor. And we'd come back through Monk's Corner, go through Monk's Corner, come back through Monk's Corner, go through Monk's Corner. Never stopped, never hassled, never, because the cops didn't know me in that car. Well, Dad's birthday came. Well, wait a minute. It was about the third Sunday that Beth showed up at the 8:30 service. And when Beth came up, she normally just gives me a hug. And she goes, "Today's a surprise. You're going to be surprised today." What are you talking about? Oh, girl talk. Whatever. Get out of here. You know. Well, that day, Mary joined the church. That was my surprise. And she also rededicated her life, which really surprised me. Her history. Her father was a deacon. And they started the church right across the street. Now the farm that they had was right on the property that the house was. In fact, Mary's brother lived in the house that her father and mother bought like 100 years ago, back when it was a farm. And in the city, Dorchester Road, the whole bit. But anyways, they started the church, and it was a spring off from the Baptist church that I belonged to. It was like a sister church. Mary told me that when her dad passed away, they just cut all ties. That church was 800-900 people, but for those 25 years that Mary did not go to church, not one person walked across the street. But yet her father's name is on a plaque. As you go into the foyer of the church, there's a plaque, and it lists the pastor, when the church started, all the deacons, all the trustees. Well, her dad was the #1 pastor, or the #1 deacon. But yet not one of those people came across the street to talk to the daughter in those 25 years. And I kind of put myself in Mary's shoes. I would have done the same thing. I would have just stayed a Christian in my own little world, and that's what Mary did. She bought a trailer, had the most beautiful jacuzzi right outside on the patio. Mary and I would hit that jacuzzi a couple times a week. But anyways, Mary came up and I told her about Dad's 80th birthday, and I had to get permission from the court in order to go up there. She wanted to go because she's never left South Carolina. Her thing that she's always done is stay right there. She was telling me one time when she was 8 or 9 years old, her and her little sister jumped on a bus to go visit Grandma up in Myrtle Beach. Now you're talking back in the 20s. No telephones, or telephones were scarce. But they went and surprised Grandma up in Myrtle Beach. And they spent a week, and they came back, and her mother was surprised to see him. They arrived Saturday and they were in church on Sunday. But anyways, Mary used to go to the Wednesday morning prayer breakfast. And then we went up to New York. You guys met her. We had a nice trip up, nice trip back. Went to the picking parlor every Saturday night. Picked up 3 pizzas. All the pizza was gone. We never came back with any spare pizza. Used to get 3 kinds. 3 different kinds. The 3 meat pizza, the 5 meat pizza, and a cheese pizza. They were all large, $12 a piece. And Mary would buy it every week. And she'd get upset with me when I put gas in the car, because I always made sure that her car was full. Well, anyways, when I left 9 years ago, I told you that I spent 4 or 5 days with Mary because I was waiting for Rick to come and get me. And I gave Mary my TV set, which was 98-inch color flat screen, the kind you see in bars up on the wall. But she wanted it, and she gave me hers. Little dinky thing. Right now it's in a box over at Rick's, along with my sword and Grandma's Bible and that. Sometime when I head back east, I gotta stop by Rick's and get the stuff that he's watching for me. But anyways, I called Mary, and her daughter answered the phone. Apparently Mary's mind went, and I spoke to her, but she didn't know who I was. Has no memory of anything. And something hit me today, as I was thinking, and I'm scared to call. When I looked at her phone number today, I just erased it, because I got an idea she's with the Lord. So anyway, she's with Bob and Chuck and Hazel, watching over me, which means I gotta behave even better, which is a good thing, you know. Anyway, I just thought I'd throw that out, that things happen in your life that you can't put a finger on. There's 95 people on my Facebook. My relatives, nieces, nephews, cousins. And there's also my high school buddies, kids I went to school with. And I love all of you. Wish you all the best in the world. What we do in our daily life does the old crusade. What goes around comes around. Karma. Now, everything's controlled by God. I was reading today on this computer thing concerning the creation, the Holy Spirit hovering over the darkness, void. And I'm still confused concerning Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2. Genesis 1:1 says, in the beginning God created the heaven and the earth. Genesis 1:2 states, And the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. I think we're talking hundreds of thousands of years between Genesis 1:1 and Genesis 1:2. I believe when Lucifer flew around God over his head was when God created the heaven and the earth. And when Lucifer challenged God and was thrown out of heaven with the angels that decided to go with Lucifer, God threw him into the earth, and the earth became void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And I think that existed for thousands of years before Genesis 1:3, and God said, "Let there be light." There's no pastor that will dispute that with me. I have nothing to base it on except the way I think. That's just my thoughts. Just something to think about. Now I'll find out the second I die if that thought was correct. So, anyway, Lord, once again, thank you. Thank you for watching over us. Thank you for the food that you provide, and for family and friends. Be with us now. Guide us, teach us, and take care of us. And Lord, once again, asking you to bring me home. Ask this in your name. Amen. Okay, I'm looking at 27 minutes and 30 seconds. I'm going to shut this off in about 10 seconds. Anyway, it's going to get warm here, and I'm looking forward to it. Bye.